There is a quiet moment many people have each day that they do not talk about. It is the moment right before you ask a machine to do something for you. You open your laptop. You stare at an email. You feel a small resistance inside. Not fear. Just a little friction. You do not know what to say. You do not know where to start. And then you think, I could just ask AI. It would be fast. It would remove the discomfort. It would give you something clean to send. And when it works, you feel relief. A soft exhale. Problem solved. But later, sometimes, there is another feeling. A strange distance. Like you did not really do the work. Like you were present but not fully there. This feeling is easy to ignore because everything looks fine on the outside. The email is sent. The report is written. The slides are made. But inside, something subtle has shifted. This is not about whether AI is good or bad. It is about what kind of person you become when you use it in certain ways, over and over again. Let us set the scene in a very ordinary way. Imagine a normal workday. You open your inbox and you see 10 messages. Some are simple. Some are tense. Some require careful words. In the past, you would read them slowly and feel your own reactions. You might draft a reply in your head. You might hesitate. You might rewrite a sentence 3 times. That process was annoying, but it also forced you to think. Now you can ask AI to summarize the thread. You can ask it to draft a reply. You can ask it to make it more polite. You can ask it to make it shorter. And in minutes you have something ready. Next, there is a report. There is a blank page. You feel that old blank page fear. So you paste in notes and ask for a draft. Now you are not staring at a blank page. You are staring at a page that is full. And you have a new kind of fear. Do I agree with this? Is this really what I think? If you have ever felt that, you know it is not a small thing. Because the work looks done, but your mind has not fully arrived. You become a checker. A confirmer. A person who says yes or no to sentences that appear in front of you. This is the hook of the problem. We may think we are using a tool. But the tool is also shaping the way we think. The first insight is the surface concept. Outsourcing is easy. It feels helpful. It removes friction. It saves time. And in a world where people are tired and overloaded, this feels like a gift. But it has a hidden cost. The cost is not only that you might accept something wrong. The deeper cost is that you practice thinking less often. You practice forming ideas less often. And the mind is like the body in one simple way. What you do often gets stronger. What you do rarely gets weaker. If you ask a machine to draft your thoughts every day, you slowly lose the muscles that draft your thoughts. You may not notice at first. Because you still feel smart. You still have opinions. But the path from feeling to words becomes less used. Like a trail in a forest that becomes overgrown when no one walks it. The second insight is the hidden assumption we carry. We assume that thinking is mainly about producing an answer. We assume the goal is to get to a final sentence. A final slide. A final decision. So if a machine can produce those outputs, we think the job is done. But thinking was never only about the output. Thinking is also the process of meeting the material. Reading the messy document. Sitting with the unclear data. Feeling confused. Making a guess. Testing it. Changing your mind. Remembering why you changed your mind. That process is where learning happens. It is where creativity happens. It is where judgment forms. When AI gives you a finished answer too early, you skip the slow part. You skip the part where your mind stretches. It is like taking an elevator every day and then being surprised when stairs feel hard. The issue is not the elevator. The issue is never using your legs. There is also an emotional assumption. We assume that the discomfort of not knowing is wasted time. We treat it like a bug. But discomfort is often the doorway to insight. Many good ideas begin as a vague feeling, a question without words, a tension between two thoughts. If you always remove that tension quickly, you remove the space where new thinking can happen. The third insight is the structural pattern. When AI is used as an assistant that obeys, work becomes smooth. Too smooth. Emails become quick. Reports become quick. Analysis becomes quick. And because it is quick, you do more. More messages. More documents. More outputs. The world rewards speed, so the pressure grows. You begin to believe that you cannot afford to think slowly. You begin to treat your own thinking like a luxury. You start to feel behind if you do not use AI. You start to feel anxious if you do not have it. And then something strange happens. You gain efficiency and lose ownership. You might look at your own work and feel like a visitor. Like you are touring your tasks instead of living inside them. This is why the phrase outsourced reason feels so sharp. Because reasoning is not only a step in work. It is part of being human at work. It is how you decide what matters. It is how you notice what is missing. It is how you spot a lie that sounds nice. It is how you choose a direction when there is no clear right answer. If you stop practicing these things daily, you do not only lose skill. You lose agency. You lose the feeling that you are steering. And it can happen even if you are successful. Even if your output is praised. Even if your boss is happy. Inside, you might feel less connected to your own mind. Now we can reframe the story. The choice is not between using AI and not using AI. The real choice is how you use it. There is a way to use AI that makes you smaller. And there is a way to use AI that makes you stronger. If AI becomes a tool that always agrees, always produces, always closes the loop fast, then it trains you to stop exploring. But if AI becomes a tool for thought, it can do something different. It can create productive resistance. It can slow you down at the right moments. It can ask you questions. It can show you alternative angles. It can point to weak spots. It can highlight what you may have ignored. It can help you keep contact with the source material instead of replacing it. This is the key shift. AI should not only fill the page. It should help you face the page. It should not only give answers. It should help you ask better questions. It should not only offer a smooth path. It should sometimes put a small bump on the road so you stay awake. Think about the difference between a calculator and a teacher. A calculator gives an answer. A teacher gives you a problem and waits. A teacher wants you to struggle a little. Not because struggle is fun, but because struggle builds skill. A tool for thought is closer to a teacher than a servant. It is not there to replace your mind. It is there to train it. It is there to keep you engaged. To keep you close to the material. This is not abstract. You can feel it in a simple example. Imagine you need to write a proposal. You could ask AI to write the whole thing. You would get a clean draft. But you might not remember what it said tomorrow. You might not feel confident defending it in a meeting. Now imagine you read the key document yourself, but with help. Not a summary that replaces reading, but small lenses that guide your attention. You look at the document through one lens that shows what customers care about. Then you switch to a lens that shows risks. Then another lens that shows numbers. You are still reading, but you are reading with intention. You take notes in your own words. You build an outline with your own structure. Only after that do you let AI help you turn outline points into sentences. In this case, the AI text is not the first thought. It is the second thought. It grows from your decisions, your judgment, your understanding. And because it is grounded in your process, you own it. You remember it. You can change it. You can defend it. This is a very different relationship. And something else becomes possible. AI can offer provocations, not instructions, not commands. Provocations. Small challenges. Like, here is a counterargument. Here is a weak assumption. Here is a missing stakeholder. Here is a different tone. Here is another path. You do not have to accept them. In fact, the ability to reject them is part of the goal. If you can say no confidently, it means you understand your own work. It means you are present. In a strange way, the best AI support is the support you can refuse. Because refusal proves you are thinking. Now let us bring this into daily life. Because this is not only about office work. It is about how we use AI for everything. Students use it to write essays. People use it to plan their week. To choose gifts. To decide what to say in hard conversations. To interpret feelings. To summarize news. Each time we do this, we are making a small trade. We trade effort for convenience. Sometimes the trade is worth it. But if we trade every time, we lose something. Think of small, everyday moments. You read an article and feel confused. You could ask for a summary. Or you could read one section carefully and ask AI to question you about it. You could ask it to give you 3 questions that test your understanding. You could answer in your own words. This keeps your mind active. Or think about a disagreement with a friend. You could ask AI to write the perfect message. Or you could write your rough message first, then ask AI to point out where it might sound harsh, or where it might be unclear. That way the message is still yours. The tool helps you see it more clearly. Or think about learning something new. You could ask for the answer. Or you could ask for a simple problem that fits your level, then try, then get feedback. In each case, the tool is not doing your thinking. It is supporting your thinking. It is making you more awake, not less. This is also about memory. When AI writes for you, you often remember less. Not because you are lazy, but because memory is tied to effort. When you form a sentence yourself, you build a trace. When you struggle with a concept, you build a stronger trace. If you always accept a ready-made explanation, you lose those traces. Later you feel like life is slipping through your hands. You read many things but keep little. You write many things but feel like you did not write them. Over time, this can create a quiet anxiety. You feel busy but not grounded. You feel productive but not wise. So the deeper message is not anti-AI. It is pro-human. It says thinking is not a problem to remove. Thinking is a skill to protect. And it matters most because of agency. The ability to decide. The ability to judge. The ability to choose what you believe and what you do. If you lose that, you can still function, but you will feel smaller inside your own life. This is why the design of tools matters. Tools can be built to obey quickly. Or they can be built to keep you engaged with the material. Tools can be built to remove friction. Or they can be built to place friction in the right places, like a good pair of shoes that supports your foot instead of carrying you. In the end, the question is not whether machines can produce better answers. The question is what kind of humans we become when we stop practicing the work of thinking. So as you notice yourself reaching for AI today, for a summary, a draft, an answer, a plan, you might pause for 1 second and ask, do I want a tool that thinks for me or a tool that helps me think?